right-wing culture wars are now coming for your teeth because in communities across the United States, public water fluoridation programs are now facing pushback, both municipal as well as in schools, okay? A lot of people are now insisting that they should not be required to consume fluoride. A pediatric dentist in North Carolina says the anti-fluoridation movement gained steam with COVID, as so many of the worst things about the modern era did. We've seen an increase of people who either don't want fluoride or are skeptical about it, probably because they've done research. She also highlights the challenge she's having with parents, and that also is reminiscent of COVID, saying, we get people who don't want fluoride and their kids will come in with a mouthful of decay. Then they won't want us to do any treatment. I'm like, listen, dental infections can be very dangerous. You may end up in the hospital. And look, I don't know the experience of every parent, but if you opt out of the fluoride that you know helps protect against tooth decay, and then there's tooth decay, and you bring your child to the dentist and don't want treatment, I would just love to know what you brought them to the dentist for. What exactly was the dentist supposed to do? Provide moral support for their molars? I don't know. Like, treatment is what dentists do, and you don't seem to want it. In any event, the Moms for Liberty, I guess, which has had some trouble, with the sex scandals and everything. Maybe they want to move away from the sex stuff to something more exclusively focused on the mouth. Here is one of the chairs for Moms of Liberty talking about fluoride.
How long can our society bear the cost of knowingly lowering our population's IQ?
Fluoride is actually the one substance that we add to our water that's not meant to address the quality of the water.
County Commissioner Brian Helms voted to remove fluoride.
By putting a substance that's meant for, a medicinal type benefit into our water, it brings up a significant question about consent.
And those are the sorts of people that run these influential organizations, and they're in elected office, and they're tweeting. Illuminati bot says, stupid ass people think fluoride is putting water to treat the water. It doesn't treat the water, it treats you. It's a forced medication. Well, yeah, it is, because it's good. It does the thing that it's supposed to do. Like, I don't know. Look, when you talk to these people, some of them say, I saw in some of the articles, they were like, it's not that I necessarily am against fluoride. It's about consent, and I understand that. But if this is something that you're not against, and you shouldn't be, because everyone knows that it works, very well established, you don't have to knee-jerk fight about consent in everything. Arguably, there could be some other societal things going on around consent that maybe are more demanding of your time and attention. Hey, I'm glad you're here. Listen, in order for the Damage Report to keep on going, we need viewers like you to become a member on YouTube. Can you click the join button on YouTube today? Thank you. And so, look, we shouldn't be surprised by this. We know that coming out of COVID, lots of people got radicalized against science and doctors and the CDC, and now they don't want anything put in their bodies. I mean, in terms of their diet, they're putting insane quantities of toxic stuff in their bodies. They don't care about that. But they don't want the medicine. And before we discuss, I just want to show you an amazing comparison of two counties in North Carolina. We were talking about a pediatric doctor in North Carolina. So this is Nash and Ashe counties, okay? They're similar in terms of socioeconomic status. Nash has fluoride in its water, Ashe does not. And you can see the rates of tooth decay for kindergartners. It's dramatic. It's almost twice as high in Ashe and not Nash. And look, I'm not saying that fluoride or not fluoride is the only thing that's causing this, but it's a pretty predictable result. And in terms of the share that needed to see dentists for treatment, it's more than 4 times higher in Ashe. It's like, of all of the things our government does, it's an immediately predictably beneficial thing that is done at basically no cost to you. And dental treatments are very expensive, okay? This could lead to lifetimes of expenses for these kids. And unfortunately, as in so many other areas, Sharon, adults have just abandoned the next generation because they find the conspiracies too appealing to ignore.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, I don't know who's really pushing this. It's one thing after another. Like you said, I don't have a problem if someone wants to articulate why they're against this and even work for change. But I get the feeling that it's just, waking up and pulling something out of the hat. You know how they used to just fold over the little papers, you shake it up, and then they say, your turn, you pick something. And then here we are talking about the fluoride in the water. Again, if that's your beef and you can articulate it and you have real reasons for this, great. But it just feels so contrived, all of this.
Yeah.
It really does.
Well, I mean, I would say it feels that way because it is. I mean,
Yeah.
as with some, and this is why we mentioned the culture war thing, because some people might say, but this doesn't really seem like a culture war. I mean, it's like a right-wing thing now, but is it a culture? No, but it is. Because as with so many other aspects of the culture war, this fluoride thing is designed. It's designed by people with a lot of money and power who don't believe any of this to con the rubes. Because even if what you cared about was water and what's in the water, this is what you're focusing on. It's what they're focusing on because it involves doctors, it involves the government. So they know that conspiracists are gonna get fired up about it. Meanwhile, there are corporations dumping all sorts of toxic chemicals in rivers and streams. We supposed to talk about that? No, we're supposed to deregulate actually when it comes to that. The lead in our pipes that's getting lead into our water. Could we organize around that maybe? Like put pressure on our governments to get rid of the last vestiges of that? No, you're not supposed to do that. There's so much we could do in terms of water, but we don't do it. And I understand, I say the word water like a Connecticuter. I apologize for that. But anyway.
In Philly, it's water.
Fracking is resulting in fracking chemicals going into groundwater. People are turning on their sinks and their tap water literally is flammable. You could, if Moms for Liberty really cared about water being bad for kids, there's all sorts of stuff all over the country they could do and organize around, but they're not, because those are things that corporations do to make money. And challenging them is a challenge to corporations, and it's a challenge to entrenched wealth and power. And Moms for Liberty is not about challenging entrenched wealth and power. They're about getting the rubes fired up to go after the government to take the attention off of the corporations, so the corporations will continue to be free to do whatever they need to do, pump whatever they need to into the water and into the air and into the land to make money all along the way. And that's why it's a culture war thing. And we got more to come, but any other thoughts about this?
No, I just think the other thing that culture wars do is they distract. While we're busy arguing over the fluoride issue now, the book ban, whatever else they come up with, things are happening. And people are taking more money at the top, and we're getting poorer, and there is no middle class, and on and on and on and on. Okay, so I do think that a distraction is a huge part of it. And we tend to like to focus on these little tiny things as opposed to the big boulder that needs to be pushed uphill. And so I think that's another reason why this kind of nonsense pops up.
Yeah, we as a species are capable of great things. Unfortunately, there's money to be made. And so we can't have anything. Like I'm dreaming of us living in the Star Trek. And instead we're removing like one of the few positive things that we do. We're questioning that. We're not vaccinating, we're taking out the fluoride or whatever. Dear God. Okay. No, they're gonna have, like they already are convincing moms to not get like the kids vaccinated. They're gonna be convincing them like God knows what they're gonna be telling them to do in terms of nutrition and everything. I don't even want to think about the future because the present is already so dark. Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.